When people outside the horse world think about viral animals, they usually think of dogs or cats. But over the past few years, one horse became one of the internet's biggest equine celebrities. His name was Big John, a massive rescue draft horse whose gentle personality captured the hearts of millions of people around the world. Sadly, Big John has now passed away at the age of 30. For millions of people, Big John wasn't just remembered as another horse on social media. He became an ambassador for horse rescue and introduced countless people to the equestrian world. His videos reached audiences who had never spent time around horses before, and his remarkable size, combined with his calm and affectionate personality, made him unforgettable. Over the past few days, many people have also been discussing the rescue organization that cared for Big John. While we recognize those conversations are taking place, that's not the focus of today's video. We're not here to debate or give our opinions about the rescue. Instead, we're going to remember Big John's life, look back at how he became one of the most recognizable horses on the internet, and talk about the legacy he leaves behind. Big John's story didn't begin with internet fame. Long before millions of people knew his name, he spent years working as an Amish draft horse. Like countless draft horses before him, he spent his life pulling heavy equipment and performing physically demanding farm work. Draft horses have been the backbone of agriculture for centuries, bred for their incredible strength, steady temperament, and ability to work long hours. While many working horses are well cared for throughout their lives, others eventually reach a point where they can no longer do the work they were bred for, leaving their futures uncertain. That uncertainty became part of Big John's story. In 2021, Colby's Crew Rescue found Big John at a livestock auction. According to the rescue, he was elderly, underweight, lame, and had open wounds from years of work. They stepped in and gave him a second chance. Instead of spending his final years continuing hard labor, Big John was finally able to retire and then simply enjoy a life as a horse. No one could have predicted what would happen next. As videos of Big John began appearing on social media, people couldn't believe what they were seeing. He wasn't just a big horse, he was enormous, standing around 20 hands tall and weighing roughly 3,000 pounds. He dwarfed almost every horse people were familiar with. To put that into perspective, the average riding horse stands somewhere between 15 and 17 hands. Even many Olympic dressage horses and elite show jumpers stand around 16 to 17 hands, making Big John appear almost unbelievable by comparison. Many people assumed the videos had been edited or that clever camera angles were making him look larger than he actually was. They weren't. Big John really was that massive. But while his incredible size grabbed people's attention, it wasn't what kept them watching. It was his personality. Despite weighing well over a ton, Big John was remarkably calm and gentle. Video after video showed him quietly interacting with his caretakers, enjoying scratches, accepting treats, standing patiently for grooming, and soaking up affection. He never came across as intimidating. Instead, he behaved like a gentle teddy bear, and that contrast fascinated people. Before long, millions of people were following his journey. For many viewers, Big John became their first introduction to horses. Others had grown up around horses, but had never seen a draft horse of this size. Many simply found comfort in watching an elderly rescue horse finally enjoy the peaceful retirement he had earned after years of hard work. Eventually, Big John earned the name, the King of Horse Talk. His videos reached far beyond the equestrian community. People who had never visited a barn or met a horse suddenly found themselves looking forward to his updates. In many ways, Big John became an ambassador for horses. Without trying to educate anyone directly, he encouraged people to ask questions about horse care, horse rescue, and what happens to working horses after they retire. That may be one of the most important parts of his legacy. Horse rescue isn't as simple as bringing a horse home and turning it into a pasture, especially when you're talking about an elderly draft horse that weighs close to 3,000 pounds. A horse that size consumes an enormous amount of hay every day. Routine veterinary care can become more expensive because medications are often dosed according to body weight. Hoof care requires specialized farriers. Transporting a horse that large isn't always easy. And as horses age, they often need additional veterinary attention, dental work, and nutritional support. Big John also helped people appreciate draft horses themselves. For centuries, draft horses have worked alongside humans pulling wagons, farm equipment, and logging machinery. Their tremendous strength helped build communities long before modern tractors existed. While they're known for their power, they're equally famous for their calm, willing temperaments. Big John embodied those qualities perfectly. He was an incredible example of why so many people fall in love with draft horses. As years went on, followers celebrated his birthdays, watched his daily routines, and saw him continue enjoying retirement. Instead of being remembered only for the years he spent working, he became known around the world simply for being Big John. Unfortunately, time eventually catches up with every horse. At around 30 years old, Big John had already reached an impressive age for a draft horse. While many horses can live into their 30s with excellent care, aging often brings arthritis, declining muscle mass, dental disease, weight management challenges, and reduced mobility. For giant draft horses, carrying that much weight places even greater stress on aging joints. Recently, the rescue shared that Big John's condition had begun to decline. In an emotional message to supporters, they explained that they believe they would have to make a difficult decision and asked everyone to keep him in their thoughts because their hearts were breaking. Not long afterward, they announced that Big John had passed away. In their tribute, they wrote that their hearts were shattered, but found comfort knowing he was finally at peace. News of his passing spread quickly across social media, where thousands of people shared messages remembering the horse they had followed for years. Many thanked the rescue for giving him the opportunity to experience retirement after decades of work. Others shared artwork, favorite videos, and personal stories about how Big John had introduced them to horses. Some said his videos had become part of their daily routine, while others admitted they never expected to become emotionally attached to a horse they had only known through social media. It's remarkable when you think about it. Big John never became famous because he won championships. He wasn't an Olympic horse. He didn't break records. He wasn't a world champion in any equestrian discipline. He became famous simply because he existed, because he was kind, because he was extraordinary to look at, and because millions of people connected with his story. In an era when so much online content disappears after a few days, Big John remained beloved for years. His story proved that people don't always want drama or controversy. Sometimes they simply enjoy watching a peaceful animal living a life filled with kindness and care. His story also reminded people that senior horses still matter. Older horses still have personalities. They still build relationships with people. They still deserve compassionate care after their working years are over. Whether a horse spent its life pulling farm equipment, teaching riding lessons, competing at horse shows, working on a ranch, or serving in another role, retirement should never mean they're forgotten. Big John became a symbol of that idea. Although he started life as a hardworking draft horse, millions of people will remember him for something entirely different. They'll remember the gentle giant who towered over everyone around him, yet behaved with incredible patience and kindness. Sometimes, the horses that leave the biggest mark aren't the ones with the most impressive competition records. They're the ones who remind us why people fall in love with horses in the first place. Big John did exactly that. His life introduced countless people to the equestrian world, inspired conversations about horse rescue and retirement, and demonstrated that a horse's story doesn't have to end when its working career is over. Sometimes the most meaningful chapter begins after someone gives that horse a second chance. Rest easy, Big John. You may have been one of the biggest horses the internet has ever seen, but your legacy is even bigger. Your gentle spirit, your remarkable story, and the joy you brought to millions of people around the world won't be forgotten anytime soon. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, I am not AI. If you listen closely, you can hear me breathing.